Daniel was a 24-year-old university student struggling to make ends meet. His part-time job at a cafe barely covered his rent, and sometimes he skipped meals to save money for textbooks. One evening, while delivering coffee to a private party, he met Mrs. Eleanor Winters, a 71-year-old millionaire known for her charitable work. Despite their age difference, Daniel was struck by her grace, intelligence, and kindness. She treated him with respect, something he rarely experienced. Their casual talks grew frequent, and soon she began inviting him for dinners, offering mentorship and wisdom about life, wealth, and love. Over the months, their connection deepened. Eleanor admired Daniel's ambition and humility. He saw in her a rare warmth and strength hidden beneath her elegant, wealthy exterior. But when she suddenly proposed marriage, Daniel was speechless. Everyone around him whispered, "He's after her money." Yet, Eleanor's eyes showed sincerity, and Daniel, tired of being judged for his poverty, decided to take a leap of faith. They had a quiet wedding, attended only by her lawyer, a maid, and a few distant relatives who were clearly unhappy with her decision. After the wedding, Daniel moved into Eleanor's mansion. Everything felt unreal: the marble floors, the expensive art, the staff who bowed as he walked by. But Eleanor never acted superior. She treated him as her equal, cooking with him in the mornings and reading books together at night. He started seeing her not as a rich woman, but as a soul who had known loneliness for years. Yet behind her calm smile, Daniel noticed something odd. She often stared at one locked door in the west wing, a room she never let anyone enter. Curiosity consumed Daniel. Why would Eleanor, so open and kind, keep one room locked away? Whenever he asked, she'd change the subject, saying softly, "Some doors must remain closed, Daniel. Not everything needs to be known to be loved." That only deepened the mystery. One night, as Eleanor slept, Daniel heard strange noises coming from that very room, whispers, like someone crying. His heart raced, but he decided to ignore it, thinking it was his imagination. Still, the thought haunted him all week. On the 7th day of their marriage, Eleanor told him she was feeling weak and wanted to rest. Daniel stayed by her side, reading aloud until she fell asleep. Later that night, unable to resist any longer, he took the spare keys he'd found in her drawer and walked to the west wing. The air was cold, heavy with silence. As he opened the door, dust swirled through the moonlight, and his eyes widened at what he saw inside. Hundreds of photographs, paintings, and letters covering every wall, all of them about him. There were pictures of Daniel as a child, as a teenager, even from his early university days, moments he didn't even remember being photographed. His handwriting appeared in old letters, ones he'd written to a scholarship fund that had anonymously paid for his studies years ago. It was Eleanor's name on every check. She had been watching over him for nearly a decade, helping him from the shadows, ensuring he never gave up on his dreams. The realization made him tremble. How did she know him all this time? Eleanor woke to find him sitting on the floor of the secret room, tears streaming down his face. She smiled softly and said, "I was there the day your mother died, Daniel. She was my closest friend. Before she passed, she asked me to look after you. But I wanted you to grow strong on your own, so I stayed hidden until fate brought us together." Daniel couldn't speak. His heart ached with gratitude, guilt, and love. For the first time, he saw her not as a wealthy old woman, but as the guardian angel he never knew he had. The following morning, Eleanor told him about her will. She was leaving everything to him: the mansion, her business, and her charitable foundation. Daniel refused at first, but she insisted, saying she had no family who cared for her, and that he would use her wealth to change lives, just as she used hers. "Promise me, Daniel," she whispered, "you won't waste it chasing more riches. Help others the way I helped you." He held her frail hand and promised, tears blurring his vision. A week later, Eleanor peacefully passed away in her sleep. The mansion fell silent, the scent of her perfume lingering in the air. Daniel felt an emptiness deeper than he'd ever known. Her death shook him, but her love left a mark that changed him forever. He organized a small funeral, attended by only a few people, but thousands who had benefited from her charities sent flowers and letters. It was then Daniel realized the magnitude of her kindness. She had quietly built lives, not just wealth. Days after the funeral, the lawyer handed Daniel a sealed envelope, Eleanor's final letter. In it, she wrote, Daniel, my dear boy, love is not defined by age or wealth, but by the courage to see beyond both. If you're reading this, I know you've found the truth. My time has ended, but yours has just begun. Go live, love, and lead with compassion. Inside the envelope was also a small key to a box in her study labeled Legacy. When Daniel opened it, he found documents for a new university scholarship fund, named after his mother. Eleanor had planned everything, down to her final breath. The scholarship fund would support poor students, just as Daniel once was. Moved beyond words, Daniel took on the responsibility of running her foundation, turning her mansion into an educational center for underprivileged youth. He made sure every room told a story of kindness, courage, and gratitude. The once lonely walls now echoed with laughter and hope, just as Eleanor had always dreamed. Years passed. Daniel grew into a respected philanthropist, though he never remarried. Every evening, he visited Eleanor's portrait in the West Wing, talking to her as if she were still there. "You were right," he'd say. "Love doesn't die, it just changes shape." Her teachings guided every decision he made. The boy who once struggled to afford books was now funding libraries across the country, ensuring that no one had to fight the same battles he once did. One stormy night, a young girl knocked on the mansion's door, soaked, hungry, and lost. Daniel welcomed her in, fed her, and gave her a warm bed. Watching her sleep, he remembered his own childhood, and Eleanor's gentle words, "Help others the way I helped you." He smiled through tears, realizing life had come full circle. The legacy of love was continuing through him, and through every life he touched. Daniel understood now what truly shocked him that seventh day. It wasn't the secret room, or the hidden photos. It was the realization that love can take forms we don't expect: a watchful friend, a stranger's kindness, a mentor's guidance, even a marriage that others never understand. Eleanor had loved him not for companionship, but to give him purpose, and that was the greatest gift anyone could give. As the years went by, Daniel's story became known worldwide, the poor student who married a millionaire. But those who truly knew him understood the truth. It wasn't about gold or fortune, it was about destiny, gratitude, and love beyond measure. Standing before Eleanor's grave on her birthday, Daniel whispered, "I was shocked by what I saw, but even more by what I felt. Your heart lives on, Eleanor, in me."